Halo Infinite is one of Xbox's biggest games and a flagship title for the brand that has a lot to live up to. The development of this massive shooter has been troubled with leadership changes, a brand new engine, and multiple platforms to optimize for during a difficult finishing period with staff working from home. 343 has much to prove since Halo 5, and with an entire year to refine, the team gave a huge detailed update on what to expect from Halo Infinite this holiday. This is Colteastwood, thanks for checking in. This news comes to us thanks to Halo Insider and Waypoint, a long read of an article, and I'll be breaking down the highlights and showing as much visually as I can. Much of the information here I will be reading from or paraphrasing from the linked article and put into an illustrative produced video. If you enjoy this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel, hit the bell, and hit the 4K 60 setting, and let's see how it's going with the new Halo. 343 has been working in full scope for the Halo Infinite refining that will take it from the less than stellar 2020 showing to a fully featured and next generation worthy AAA campaign and multiplayer juggernaut of FPS games on console and PC. 343 has teams working on overhauling the visuals and bringing it up to a high watermark standard, covered in a previous video that I'll link here at the end. The team has been working on keystones to this time-honored shooter, combat, equipment, weapons, and vehicles to make, as they say, the dance that feels wholly Halo and keeps the dynamic battlefield that millions have loved for 2 decades. The Halo Infinite team calls themselves the Sandbox team, trying to set up proper expectations to be upfront with fans and players, while always striving to inform and delight the community with each update. The team is planning huge announcements, specific feature deep dives, and gameplay trailers for a later date as work evolves closer to the public flighting and testing we'll see this year. The dance. Players feel combat is in their hands to win or lose. Halo's combat is a dynamic rhythm of engagement, reactive and cerebral dance that feels like a symphony of combat choices. This principle speaks to the feeling of nuanced combat between players that only Halo provides. They refer to this as the dance. Some of the key ingredients that they keep to top of mind are the right balance of kill time, movement, and using a diverse sandbox, energy shield-based health model, etc. In every encounter, the player feels like it's their choices are what produce the outcomes of results. In victory, they can outsmart or outplay their opponent because they use the correct tools and skillful actions for the given situation. This principle is where the classic golden triangle is taken into consideration. Tools of engagement. Players will feel that they are skilled Spartans, armored super soldiers, not regular foot soldiers. Each weapon or piece of equipment has a distinct feel and skill to use effectively. The tools of engagement principles encompass the symbols of what makes Halo, Halo. Fluid movement, accurate gunplay while on the move, clear roles for every weapon and every vehicle. From there, they started to get into the details of what specific weapons were going to fill those roles. This is where damage types as much as feature-rich systems come into play. A classic example of a damage type would be Plasma. Engaged Halo players and experienced Halo players understand that Plasma is strong against energy shields. In order to really build out the player choices and roles of the sandbox, they feel it is important to feature multiple damage types in the game so they can have more attributes to play with while designing vehicles and weapons. Weapons will continually change to address balance and feel to serve the experiences for players. Lone Wolf. The player feels that they can stand alone and be effective without teammates or AI companions. To abide by the lone wolf principle means that they must provide the player with the necessary items and features to empower them to be effective on their own. Teamwork will augment the experience, but they need to make sure that the player can feel powerful on their own. One way that they achieve this is by looking at designing, tuning, and balancing the starting loadout for players in multiplayer. The basic traits, tools, and weapons must allow the player to be effective from the moment they spawn without needing to scavenge for good weapons. Survivability. This principle conveys a couple of important values. First, the importance of a system that provides a player to assess the pertinent information regarding their health and the state of their opponent's health for the best combat decisions possible. Second is the importance of energy shields as a cornerstone mechanic to Halo gameplay. The importance of energy shields as part of the overall health mechanic cannot be understated. This is yet another feature that will bring players back to the original feel and what made Halo combat Evolved so beloved. Players need to feel durable and strong when they have shields up. If something in the world violates that feeling, then they run into problems as we conflict with the foundational gameplay element, and that is the extra layer of protection when shields are up. Equipment is meant to be a force multiplier by design. The players can flip a combat encounter on its head if they possess an equipment item, much like how you saw Master Chief deploy the drop wall right when Craig tossed the spike grenade in the campaign level that they showed last summer. What was a difficult situation swung in Chief's favor due to quick thinking and the right use of equipment. This provides an avenue to actions that exist in a more free-form space, giving you control and creativity in the battlefield. Not every single piece of equipment will be the same in the multiplayer as it will be in the campaign, so expect to see changes and variations between the two. Vehicles. Lastly, vehicles are important as a long-term tempo piece for encounters. As an example, a sniper rifle, due to its ammo capacity, has a finite cap to the impact it can have on the encounter or when you're in the map. But vehicles have infinite ammo, meaning they will exist as a challenge or a boon in an encounter until they are destroyed or hijacked. With vehicles having this different tempo, specifically what this means that if the golden triangle doesn't provide counters to vehicles, they will be overpowered and unbalanced. And this is where the sandbox team will make a healthy interplay between all of the parts to make sure they're in a good spot to take feedback from the community to bring healthy balance to multiplayer and campaign levels. The weapons. The Bulldog is an exciting new shotgun weapon that is fast firing and fast loading. They have felt the shotgun playstyle has been underrepresented in previous Halo titles, particularly in multiplayer. They found that there are a lot of players that want to be in your face with close quarters frontline engagements. We saw it briefly in the July showcase for Halo Infinite. All of the launch content is in-game and being played daily, but it takes a strong effort to get sometimes from a 90% to a full 100% ship retail-ready quality. So they are pushing hard to squash bugs and tune everything so they are in a good spot as they get closer to launch. This is where everyone is waiting for Halo Infinite to be shown with more gameplay. The team is working hard to get a public flighting up and ready for players to get hands-on with Halo Infinite this year to get as much feedback from the community as possible. There will be times when they have to make trade-offs for the greater good and can't address every request from the community and every specific subgroup of players, but they'll always close the loop and share their reasoning. But they say even with Halo Infinite being built as a game that will grow and evolve over time, partnering with the community to help inform their priorities and opportunities is more critical than ever. Game Foundation architect Danielle Giannetti said, "Here is something that excites me as an engineering architect. For Halo Infinite, we built the engine multi-threading solution to ensure high execution efficiency across all platforms and PCs instead of running optimally just on Xbox One. We use this new system to transition the renderer to a massively parallel multi-threaded framework to support the increased costs of all of our new rendering features and achieve high graphics efficiency on PCs, CPUs of various size, and as well as Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One X and S hardware. In practice, this means that we are doing our very best to make sure Halo Infinite runs optimally on any device you may choose to play on. This should put to ease some of the concerns that Xbox One will hold back the overall look and feel of Halo Infinite this year. Keep in mind that much or most of all of Halo Infinite's development has been targeted for Xbox One and powerful PCs, and now for Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. Joseph Staten had a last closing remark to paint a picture of how they expect Halo Infinite to play on screen and in the hands of players at the end of this year. Halo purists are concerned and worried about the grappling hook called the grapple shot that will change the way you move around the world in the game. Here's how he described this new kit for Master Chief. Crouching behind a Forerunner pillar, shields fried, and health deep in the red, I had a quick think. What's different? Hunters turn faster. Okay, assume this isn't a bug. What's the game trying to tell me? And what new dance moves have I got? As another volley of enemy fire rattled my virtual head inside my virtual helmet, I remembered I have equipment. Specifically, in the case of more reactive hunters, I have a grapple shot, which means I'm faster and more mobile too. This description of the grapple shot giving an extra advantage on the battlefield to get in, around, and over enemies harkens to something that we've just seen with the evolution of the Doom series. Halo looks to be fast, hard-hitting, while retaining many classic elements of the Halo that we've loved for almost 20 years. While the team is busy working on visual enhancements, making the graphics and presentation of the game meet our expectations, the Sandbox team is working to create the feel and the impact of playing the game in a massive, beautiful open-world campaign and in hard-hitting multiplayer. Public testing will start soon, and there is much to see for Halo Infinite, and it has to hit the mark of what everyone expects from this flagship game for Xbox. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to the 343 team for getting out in front and keeping us fans and new players informed of the development for the game. The full article is linked in the description, and it goes into tons of detail of each pillar of design for the game coming this year. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by liking and subscribing, hit the bell to be notified of new content, and join the channel or Patreon to get early access to videos and monthly giveaways. I want to know what you think of Halo Infinite. Are you confident that 343 can turn it around? Let me know in the comments. Be constructive, be fair, and above all, please, be nice.